Good evening and welcome to Face Off Tonight. In June this year, the federal government, through the then supervising Minister for Aviation, Mr. Autumn, made an indication that the country will be reverting back to having a national carrier. While that was still settling, while experts were still thinking of the possibility of having another national carrier or the viability, the minister right now for aviation, Mr. Chidoka, also reiterated the federal government's commitment to have a national carrier. Of course, you remember we used to have the then Nigerian Airways that was defunct many years back. Now, the argument is, with all of the debt profile, with all of the settlements that had to be done, the severance packages for those who were laid off during the time Nigerian Airways was defunct, how is federal government going to be able to put all of this together, and considering that over $2 billion will be required to float this national carrier for Nigeria? Now, the question we'll be asking ourselves tonight with my guests is it viable to have a national carrier now, or should we put it off for later? Welcome to Face Off. We're looking at the viability of having a national carrier, which the federal government has suggested maybe coming on stream any moment from now. We don't know how soon that will be. I have two guests in the studio. To my right, I have Mr. Sherry Kiari. He's an aircraft maintenance engineer. You're welcome to our program tonight.
Thank you very much.
And to my left, I have Mr. Olumide Onwayo, who is an aviation expert. Gentlemen, first of all, let's start like this. You tell me what you think we shouldn't have, or you should have a national carrier, and we can take it off from there. And I'll go to Mr. Olumide, who obviously will be on the opposite side. Fire now.
Thank you very much. Why I have continuously advocated that we must have a national carrier, or flag carrier as the case may be, is basically to look at the market in Nigeria, the number of foreign carriers that are entering this country, in the guise of flying and being given preferential treatment in the area of multiple entries and so many frequencies because of the market. And yet a country as populated as Nigeria will sit down and say they don't want a national carrier. Aviation cannot develop without a national or flag carrier, as the case may be. And so we need to have a flag carrier to stem the tide of capital flight and grow our industry.
Mr. Olumide.
Well, when you look at the concurrent missteps concerning having a national carrier in Nigeria and even within the sub-region, you will agree with me that it is not time to continue to delve into government-owned and increase the liabilities of the country. But after Nigerian Airways, they've had 5 critical steps of forming a national carrier, and that has failed. My position today is, rather than have a national carrier owned by government or given the tag national, I prefer we develop our airlines, our present airlines, and develop our flag carriers from there. From those flag carriers, a national carrier will naturally germinate.
You already have someone spying with you on this issue.
Yes. I don't know why we are always looking and thinking that a national or flag carrier has to be government. No. We have examples of a lot of flag carriers or national carriers around the world that are private. But what we are saying is that initiating and starting to have a national carrier without government's push, we cannot reach to what we want. Even these private carriers that we want to advocate for them to evolve and become flag carriers, without government push in the area of guaranteeing investors, a lot of things will not move. But if governments today decides that, okay, this national carrier is coming on board, ARIC, you have 20%, Medview, you have 10%, government, yes, to give guarantee to people who want to invest, we're having 10%, people will be so interested in investing. But if we are saying we're allowing what we have today to evolve, on their own to become, competition is very stiff. And the international carriers that are entering this country will make sure at any time that our own local carriers do not
If
grow.
in the interest of growing the sector's hub, or making Nigeria a hub for aviation in the region, is anything to go by? Don't you think that's what the federal government is trying to do?
Well, you see, bringing in a national carrier now. But before I go there, I want us to get a clear distinction.
Okay.
Because I've been seeing, I don't want us to mix the issue of flag and national. National, as definition states, it's an airline owned by the government of a country. It might be fully owned by government or partially owned by government, but there must be a level of government participation in it.
Which are we? I think we're touching on
Flag
about
but the flag carriers are normally representative of the country. So any airline that leaves Nigeria to Ghana, to Benin, to any country, stand as your flag carrier. So presently, we have Aero, we have Medview, and we have...
those are flag carriers.
Yes, and ERC. Those are flag carriers. So let us get that premise before we start it. Now, going back to the national carrier, there are 3 conditions whereby you ask for a national carrier. The first one is when you're in the teething stage of your aviation industry, when you just begin. And this was done in the 60s, when we did not have any airline. Please, can I finish, sir? When we did not have any airline. At that point, almost all countries are forced to start a carrier. At the second point, where you think about national carrier, consider national carrier, it's a situation whereby a major airline has failed in your country. And even if it has failed, and you look at the number of people that are going out of jobs, you probably say, okay, why? Instead of having a lot of people and no airline to operate, the government can come in and say, okay, let us see how we can salvage this airline. It was done in Peru, it was done in Argentina. Okay. Then the third option is when you have a monopolistic tendency in the industry, whereby there are not enough airlines, there are not enough carriers to project the transportation or the growth of the country. Then you now look about how do you support these airlines to have enough competition. Then you think about the national carrier. The government can also, okay, we'll form a carrier to compete. In Nigeria's case, we have over 24 AOCs. AOCs means, hold on, sir. AOCs mean for air operating certificate. This was airlines that have been given certificates to operate. So let me stop there.
You see, when he said...
You made the submission.
Yeah, when he said national carriers are formed...
Yes, 3 steps.
Step 1, teething stage. I can tell you categorically that when you look at some aspect of our activities which are fundamental in aviation, we have gone back to the teething stage. Nigeria Airways used to do D-checks on 737. Today, I don't think there's any airline that can even do a C-check in this country. So where have we gone to? Instead of building. And I keep telling people, Nigeria Airways and Varic Air...
And a national carrier will just bring back the C-checks and the D-checks?
No. There will be. There will be that privileges of bringing such things back. Nigeria Airways and Varic Air took delivery of the DC-10s in 1970s. The same year. Today we are buying brand new aeroplanes from Brazil. Where are we? Why? We must be able to remove government's hand quite okay in interfering with a national carrier.
I think let's even get that distinction clear. When the federal government thought of resurrecting the national carrier issue, when Virgin came on board, that's what you can consider the second coming of trying to get back our national carrier. That's
actually the fourth.
Yeah, but it did have some level of participation with the private sector.
Yes, that was about the first time. That was about the first time. That was about the first time.
The first time that will happen when it is not solely... Even when Nigeria Airways started, when it was still WAAC, it was still a partnership with 3...
Yes,
so before it became a wholly owned...
Government-owned. Ghana pulled out and
So which clearly is in distinction of what you're talking about.
Air Nigeria, I can tell you,
there was no before it became Air Nigeria. Before it became Air Nigeria, Virgin Nigeria. There
was no government participation in that. Yes, people in government showed leaning, but that government's money was inside that airline, no, it wasn't.
So are you saying we've never had a national carrier after the defunct Nigeria Airways?
No.
No, I disagree, sir. There was. There have been 5 attempts. And let me take you to the history.
Attempts are not like we had. Attempts are not like we had.
Go ahead with your
So let me hear the
5 attempts.
national carriers.
Before the demise of Nigerian Airways, Captain Joji, under the Ibrahim Babangida administration, tried to start Air Nigeria. Some of them frustrated those efforts.
Who are them?
Some of them. Some of those people advocate for national carrier today.
I was trying to see if I could follow the direction of your hand. Some of them.
I would have stopped his hand.
Frustrated that effort. And
But were you part of those who frustrated it?
No.
It was in the midst of those uproar that Captain Georgie was removed, a new person was brought in, and the Air Nigeria died instantly. Thereafter, immediately after nobody talked about a new carrier again until when Ms. Kema Chikwe was the minister. She now started with the Air Nigeria thing. Because of the name that was used during Mr. Georgie, there was almost uproar again. She now changed the name. She changed the name from Air Nigeria to Nigerian Global. It was that same aircraft. They did an inaugural flight from London that brought the Miss World participants into Nigeria.